All right, we still have some joining, so I'm going to give this just a moment to make sure everybody is in before we start going over information. Thank you all very much for joining us. We're very excited. This is the last in our series for this semester, talking about our MN program. My name is Ashley Chilla. I am the Associate Director of Admission here at the Emory School of Nursing. I am going to pass it over to my colleague Melanie to introduce herself as well.
Thanks, Ashley. Hey, everyone. My name is Melanie Quiseno, and I am the admission advisor for our pre-licensure programs at the School of Nursing. So that includes the Master of Nursing program. So excited that y'all all are here. You all are here, excuse me. I'll pass it over to Andrew.
Hi, everybody. My name is Andrew Plush, and I am the Director of Career Services here for the School of Nursing, and I'm excited to talk to you today.
All right, so we're going to jump right in. The way that we structure these sessions is for the first half hour or so, I'm going to do a presentation. You're going to get a lot of information about the program itself, about the admission requirements, the application process, etc. And then I'm going to hand it over to Andrew, who's going to talk about what the Career Services team does here at the School of Nursing. And then we will open it up for questions from you all. I would highly suggest waiting until the end of the presentation to start asking questions in the chat. Melanie will be in the chat today. So if you do have something that you need an immediate answer to, she will be able to do that. But I would highly encourage just wait till you hear all the information and then we can really start diving deep into the questions. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. All right, if you can see that, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Again, this is the MN webinar, so the Master of Nursing webinar. And my name is Ashley Chilla, and Melanie is here with me as well, who is our admission advisor for our pre-licensure programs. So this is just a little bit about us as a school. We've grown quite a bit from what we started as. In 1905, we were a 50-bed teaching hospital, and we've grown into what we are now, which is the #2 BSN program, #1 master's program, #8 DNP program in the country. We've got just around 1,500 students here overall. That's split pretty evenly between pre-licensure and post-licensure. For those of you who don't know, we don't necessarily think about our students in undergraduate or graduate populations. We really think about you as pre or post-licensure. Do you have that RN license? If you do not have it, you are pre-licensure. If you do have it and you're looking to continue your education, you are post-licensure. We have just around 500 faculty members for our 1,500 students and a little over 150 staff members as well. For those who don't know, Emory University is really known for its research work, and many of our faculty follow suit with that as well. They're all renowned in the areas that they study in and that they teach in. So 48 of our faculty members have been inducted as fellows of the American Academy of Nursing. We're also typically in the top 3 funded schools of nursing in the country. Last year, we had about a little over $18 million in total NIH funding. So we do have 2 facilities, one on campus and one off campus. Our on-campus building is the 1520 building. That is a predominantly pre-licensure space. So most of our pre-licensure students take their classes in the 1520 building on campus. Where that's located on campus, it's sort of a little off the beaten path from main campus. I like to call it our health science wing. So we have the biology department, we have School of Medicine over in a couple of spots, 3 of the Rollins School of Public Health buildings. Emory Hospital is very close to us, and the CDC is across the street. And then we have the ENLC, which is our newest building. That's the Emory Nursing Learning Center. That is located in downtown Decatur. That's about a 10-minute drive from our on-campus building. And that is our simulation center. So that is a 70,000 square foot state-of-the-art simulation and skills lab. All of our students pre and post licensure spend a good amount of their time there. It's a really beautiful space. If you ever come to campus and you want to see it, we usually do a tour once a month of that particular space. that houses our simulation and skills lab, but it also has classrooms, has the innovation hub, media recording studio. Both of these buildings have student commons and lounges and study spaces and wellness rooms. So, many of our students at the pre-licensure level spend all day in those buildings when they are there. We try to make them as comfortable as possible to make sure that you have everything that you need to do your best work. So at the pre-licensure level, we offer 3 different degrees. We offer a BSN, which is the traditional path to becoming a registered nurse. We offer the MN, the Master of Nursing, that is the accelerated path to the RN. And then we offer the MN pathway, which is the accelerated path to the APRN. Today, we're going to be focusing on the Master of Nursing program. So our MN program is 4 semesters or 15 months. So traditional, undergraduate experience, you get that summer semester off. That is not the case with our Master of Nursing program. The curriculum that you're going to be looking at for the Master of Nursing program is nearly identical to the BSN program. They're both 4 semesters. They both cover the same types of materials. They have the same types of clinical rotations, the same types of simulation. The difference is the pace at which you take it. So our BSN students get a nice summer off to reset or do what they need to do. And our Master of Nursing students just go straight forward with their 4 semesters. So there are 2 start times for this particular program. You can start in the fall or you can start in the spring. So if you start in the fall, you would go fall, spring, summer, and then you would graduate at the end of the next fall. Spring semester, you start in the spring, you go summer, fall, and you graduate at the end of the following spring semester. So it's fast and furious, again, 15 months. And the outcome of this degree is that you become a licensed registered nurse. Some things to keep in mind about this program. It is a full-time on-campus program. It is typically 5 days a week. So the reason that I really love to talk about this point is probably one of the biggest questions that we get about the MN program is whether you can have a job while you do this program or if you can do it virtually. The answer to both of those is, the answer to virtually is no. All of the coursework is in person. You do have to be on campus in the 1520 building taking those classes. When it comes to working while you are doing this program, there are no rules. We don't set any rules about what you can and can't do out in your outside time. However, a typical semester is going to look, a week in a semester is going to look like this. You're going to have 2 days of coursework. That coursework, they're going to be days next to one another. So you either do Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday. Those days are around 8 a.m. until 4-ish p.m. in the evening. So those are a full day, 2 days a week of coursework. When you start to get into your second semester, you will go into full rotations for your clinical rotations at that point. And those will be 2 days a week as well. Those can vary quite a bit depending on the time commitment, but you will certainly have 12-hour shifts in there. So those are going to be full days as well. And then 1 day is going to be dedicated to your skills lab, your simulation time. That can be anywhere between Monday and Saturday. Your clinical rotations can happen on the weekends as well. Your sim time is probably going to be at least 5 to 7 hours. Certainly at certain times during the semester, they will be that long. So when you're thinking about what does this program look like on a weekly basis, it is a full-time job. So to try to have a full-time job on top of a full-time job and expect to do well at either one of them is probably unrealistic. Now, again, we don't know your situation. We don't know your pocketbooks. We don't know what you can withstand. So again, there are no rules against that, but I always like to stress that this program is a full-time commitment. It will be 5 days a week. It will be on the weekend. Every semester will look a little bit different depending on what your classes are and what your clinical rotations are. So this is a generalist program. So you're going to get a little taste of everything. When you are doing your clinical rotations, they are going to be in all different departments and they will follow what you are learning in the classroom. So oftentimes we'll have questions of, well, can I do this kind of rotation? And can I do this kind of rotation? You can certainly request anything that you would like, and our clinical placement team will take that into consideration, but they cannot guarantee anything. All students are going to cover the main rotations that they need to, and any extra time that you may have, if they have a space to put you, they will certainly try to do that. To be admitted to this program, you must have completed a bachelor's degree in a non-nursing field. You can certainly be in process of doing that, but you would have to have that bachelor's degree completed by the time you start the program. So this program is really designed for people who are either building on their first degree or doing a career change. I would say out of all of our programs, this is the most diverse student body that we have. In every way, shape, and form, because we often do have students who've been working for a while and then really feel a pull to nursing, a love, a passion for it, and they change careers. So we certainly can have students in their 30s, 40s, sometimes 50s in this program. And then we certainly do have students who are right fresh out of their first bachelor's degree going into their second, going into this master program. So yeah, it really is a very diverse group. And I actually think that it creates a really nice dynamic because you're getting a slice of life from every single aspect that you possibly could, which is what you're going to encounter when you go out into the real world and start your nursing career as well. So when you're looking at the fall start and the spring start, there are going to be some different options for you. If you are choosing the fall start, there is only one option, and that is the straight MN program, what we were just talking about. Again, 4 semesters, 15 months, and you leave ready to take the NCLEX to become a registered nurse. If you choose the spring start, there's going to be a little bit more flexibility in what you get to choose from. So the MN is absolutely an option, the straight MN, again, what we've been talking about. We also have the in-Emory MN option. Curriculum-wise, again, this is the exact same programming that we've been talking about. However, with this in-Emory MN program, your clinical rotations will only take place in Emory Healthcare. For our other programs, your clinical rotations can take place in a variety of different healthcare systems in the Atlanta area. But if you are a person who knows you are passionate about working in Emory Healthcare, that is important to you, you know you want to do that, certainly the in-Emory MN program would be a good fit for you. The other thing to note about the in-Emory MN program is that there is a guaranteed job at Emory Healthcare with that particular program when you complete that and you pass through your NCLEX. So again, this program is really designed for students who know they want to work in Emory Healthcare. If you don't know that you want to work in Emory Healthcare or you want to see a variety of different spaces, this may not be the best option for you. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what start is going to be best for you. And then the other option with the spring start is the MN pathway, which we're not going to be talking about. There is, we did a session on that a few weeks ago that is available on our YouTube if you want to go back and check that out. But again, that is the program that takes you from pre-licensure guaranteed straight into your post-licensure degree to become a nurse practitioner. Again, all of these programs that I'm talking about in the spring, they all have the exact same first 4 semesters. That MN program curriculum is the same for all 4. They all just have sort of unique little differences between the 3 of them, depending on what works best for you and your career. So these are the deadlines for our next admission cycle for fall of 2026, the MN program. You'll see on our website when you go to the application homepage that there are application deadlines and decision release deadlines that are associated with every single start term. So when you're looking at this, you will see for, round 1, August 1st was the deadline date, and October 15th, right? Yes, October 15th is the decision release, which means if you have a complete application by that deadline date, and by complete, we mean you've submitted the application, you have submitted all of your transcripts, you have your resume or CV uploaded, and you've paid the application fee. If you've done all of those things by the deadline date, then you are guaranteed to get your decision release on the corresponding release date. You will see that we have passed round 1 and round 2, and we are coming up furiously on round 3. We feel it in our office as well. Round 3 for our fall application cycle is December 1st. So if you are still in process, make sure you keep December 1st in mind, that you have, again, all of your materials in your application and submitted by 12/1. And if you do that, then you will get your decision release on January 25th. We do not release early to anybody, so everybody's comes out on January 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern. So keep that in mind when you're submitting all of your materials. We will take applications after that round 3 decision deadline. We move into rolling admissions after that point. So we will keep the application open until we fill the cohort. Getting your application in early is always going to benefit you. Certainly for scholarship decisions and consideration, we do offer internal scholarships for all of our pre-licensure programs. They are merit-based, so they're based off of your GPA. We'll talk a little bit more about that versus our application process in just a moment. But the earlier you can get all of that information in, submitted, the better chances that you will have to get the kind of outcome that you want. When you go into that rolling admissions part, you should expect to get an admission decision between 6 to 8 weeks. But these are highly competitive programs, so we are finding that things are filling up quicker and quicker. So again, if you can submit on the earlier side, it's only going to benefit you. So some program highlights. This is all of our pre-licensure programs, and certainly the MN is highlighted in this. All of our pre-licensure programs are required to have a certain amount of service learning hours. So you're required to have 28 service learning hours. It is a tenet of the School of Nursing that we are community-based. We are here to serve the community. And so one of the ways that we do that is through these service learning hours. You can do those in the Atlanta area. You can do them in Georgia. You can do them out of state, and you can do them internationally. So we offer a few different immersion trips that happen internationally every year. Those programs usually happen during breaks. So spring break, winter break, sometime in the summer. And again, every place that they go has a little bit different of a focus. I know when we had the last spring break, we had 2 groups. One went to Mexico, one went to the Dominican Republic. One worked with younger populations. One worked with adult gerontology populations. So again, each trip is going to focus on something a little bit different. But if you're interested in sort of going somewhere overseas and seeing different communities and how their healthcare systems work, that's a great way to do that. All of our pre-licensure students are required to have 142 and a half, very specific, simulation hours at the ENLC. Again, if you are interested in just seeing like a sneak peek of what that space looks like, on our YouTube page, there's also like a mini tour of the ENLC that you can sort of see what some of those spaces look like. Our students are required to have 555 clinical hours over those 4 semesters. Again, I mentioned that those are going to happen at a variety of different spaces and healthcare systems here in the Atlanta area. Certainly, you will have some at Emory Healthcare. We are under the same umbrella as Emory Healthcare, but you will also go to Grady. You will go to Northside. You will, you could possibly go to Wellstar. You could go to Piedmont. You could go to private practice. There are many different places that our students are placed for their clinical rotations. You will also get a good amount of NCLEX preparation. So we have, and Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong about this. I believe it is a 96% pass rate, first-time pass rate.
That sounds right.
Yes. For our pre-licensure students, certainly your classes are going to be your first NCLEX preparation, but we also offer during your 4th semester, right at the end of your 4th semester, a 3-day like full day intensive workshop to get you ready to take the NCLEX. All the modules that come from that session will also be available to you for a few months afterwards as well to study. Again, NCLEX, in case you don't know, is the standardized test that you take to become a registered nurse. So we also have a group of people who work here at the School of Nursing, hardworking. They are always working for our students. Our student services team, our career services team. I'll let Andrew talk about career services, but our student services team, they are really focused. When you become a student here, they want to support you mind, body, soul. Nursing school is hard. This particular program is very rigorous. During the first semester, you will probably be pushed in ways that you didn't think or know possible. And so we want to make sure that you have the resources there for you when that happens. So we offer tutoring. We have something called the NEST program, where in that first semester in particular, there are some classes that students typically tend to struggle with. And so we have found students who've done very well in those courses, and we embed them as in-class tutors. But there's also other tutoring that's available outside of the classroom as well from student services. We have an in-house psychologist, Gabby, who is amazing. She just works with School of Nursing students, so she really understands what you all go through. She's available to meet for group sessions. I believe she does individual sessions. She puts on a lot of different events throughout the year as well. We have stress relieving events. A few weeks ago, we had pet therapy, we had sound baths, we had meditation hours, we had arts and crafts hours. There is a beautiful preserve, like a nature preserve across the street from our building, that students will often gather and go for an hour and just walk out in nature in between classes. So again, there's a lot of things that we try to do here to make sure that you feel supported. Both of our buildings have food banks in case you are experiencing food insecurity. Again, there are many, many things that student services team does, and they're amazing at what they do, and we're so happy that they're with us. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our prerequisite courses. So if you have looked at our website at all, or if you have started the application process, you will see that all of our pre-licensure students are required to have these 7 courses completed by the time they start the program. So I'm going to repeat that again. By the time they start the program, you do not have to have them completed by the time you submit your application, although you should have a plan for when you want to complete them. Those classes are a general chemistry course with lab, human anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 with lab, microbiology with lab, a clinical nutrition course, an introduction to statistics course, and a human growth and development course. Some things to keep in mind about these prerequisites. The human anatomy and physiology courses and microbiology courses need to be completed within 7 years of when you would start the program. So right now we're admitting for 2026. So you'll want to have taken these classes from 2019 and on. The other classes do not have a time limit on them. These courses need to be completed with a C or higher. And you'll see I've put credits next to these. This is typically what we see. Usually with the science courses, you're looking at a 3-credit lecture class with a 1-credit lab attached to it. And then nutrition, statistics, human growth and development, those all will be a 3-credit course. I think the one that tends to trip people up the most is human growth and development. That's going to be a psychology-based course that takes you throughout the life cycle from birth to death. Oftentimes we get asked, well, I took child psychology, or I took introduction to psychology, or I took abnormal psychology. Those are all great classes, but it won't satisfy this particular prerequisite because it needs to be a course that has the entire lifespan covered. So if you have something that just focused on one part of the lifespan, unfortunately, that won't work. We will take these courses from any regionally accredited institution, whether it is in person or online. So these are some things about our application process. You do have to have an application for every program. There is a $50 application fee. I talked about those documents that you need to have as part of your application for it to be considered complete. That is a resume or CV. You do have to have transcripts from all post-secondary schools, whether a degree was conferred there or not. So even if you took one course at one school, we still have to have a transcript from that school. If you have any international transcripts, we do have to have a course-by-course evaluation by WES, World Education Services. And if English is not your first language, you may be required to take the TOEFL as well. This is for our BSN students. We often get this question for MN students. Do I have to have a standardized test, a GRE, an SAT, a TEAS? No, you do not. Only our BSN students are required to have a standardized test if their GPA is below a 3.5. But as an MN student, you are not required to have any standardized tests as part of the application process. So how we evaluate applications is holistic. So we are looking at every part of your application. Certainly we will be looking at your cumulative GPA, which is all of your post-secondary coursework combined together. We will look at your science GPA, which is going to be your chemistry, your anatomy and physiology courses, and your microbiology course averaged together as well. But we will also look at your volunteer experience, your work experience. There's also an optional personal essay that you can upload, and we will certainly look at that as well if you want that to be a part of your application. So again, it's a holistic admissions process. But again, when we're talking about internal scholarships for the School of Nursing, that is just merit-based. So that is going to be based primarily off of your cumulative GPA only. So just something to keep in mind about how those two processes differ from one another. I am going to stop talking at this point, and I'm going to let Andrew take over for a little bit to talk about the Career Services team, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Absolutely, thank you. So I have been at the School of Nursing for 6.5 years now. And I like to say that because I have seen the recruiting cycle that our students have gone through about 19 times now. So I like to think that I know a little bit about what we do. Because the cycle that you'll go through once you are completing your degree, we are somewhat of experts and we've seen it. We talk to recruiters pretty much every day. In fact, Emory Healthcare is coming to talk to our students about their nurse residency program next week. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is coming to talk to our students tomorrow about their nurse residency program. So we are here to help you along that process. One thing I want to make sure you are aware of, we are not a placement office. We will not give you your jobs, but we will help you in the process of finding, interviewing, submitting for that position. I actually talked a little bit earlier about students that wanted to work while they are in the program. I actually have a number for you. I ran it just a few weeks ago. For our May 2025 graduates, our pre-licensure graduates, only 43.3% of them held a position while they were in school. And every single one of those were part-time positions or PRN positions because your program is rigorous. Now, if you decide that this is something you want to do while you're in school, if you're capable of doing it, our office is here to help you with that process as well. So when you decide you want to meet with us, we offer appointments, for resume and CV review, cover letters, job search strategies, LinkedIn, which I highly recommend that you have a LinkedIn, interview prep and mock interviews. One of the things that I love that we started offering last year was professional headshots. You do not need to go pay for those. That is a part of our services. In fact, I see some questions in the chat. I'm going to ask you all a question real quick. So in the chat, how much do you think on average it costs to have your resume professionally reviewed outside of a university? Give everybody a couple of seconds to submit their response. 100, 100. We're getting a little bit closer there. So $150 is a little bit low, $300. That's the numbers I was looking for. About $300 on average is what we see a professional resume writer, resume review service cost. This is included in your tuition. It is a very unique thing that the School of Nursing offers here at Emory because it's not often that you see a School of Nursing with an embedded career services office. You might see a career counselor that is embedded with a centralized career center. We don't do that. We are here for you and only for you. In fact, we recently added a new person to my team, which I don't think either of you know about. Not going to announce the name quite yet, but we are a 3-person team that is here to serve every single 1,500 student almost at the School of Nursing. Speaking of numbers, I'm going to throw another number at you. Whether you are in our BSN program, our MN program, whichever pre-licensure program you are in, we see very, very, very similar employment rates within 3 months of graduation. I'm not going to ask you to guess that one. I'm going to tell you straightforward. For our December of 2024 graduates, which was our last graduating cohort of MN students, we saw, pull up that spreadsheet, 95.5% of them having a position 3 months post-graduation. And the majority of those, so around 90%, had their position by graduation. It's a large number. So when we say that, nursing is a trusted profession, nursing is a great field, you're going to get a job. We're going to help you get that job, whether it is in Atlanta, if it's in Texas, if it's in California, New York. In fact, I had a student tell me yesterday, I wasn't checking my email yesterday, I checked this morning, that they received an offer over the weekend for a cardiovascular ICU unit at MedStar in the Washington, D.C. area. We are here to help you throughout the entire process. So if you decide to go to Emory, remember that. We're here for the entire time. I think, no, I didn't cover everything. The events. I always forget about the events. Such a big part of my job and I forget. So I mentioned bring recruiters to our students. We offer a career fair, both virtual and in person, every fall and spring, where we see recruiters from across the country participate, whether that's virtual or online. We had Northwestern attend our most recent in-person career expo in September. Our next one would be in February. So that every September, every February for those events. And throughout the semester, I bring in Metro Atlanta area recruiters to tell you about their opportunities. So we are connected, we help you get connected, and we help you along through that process. And we are here no matter what question you have for your career journey. I think that is everything. So I will pass
That's
it right back
amazing.
over.
The other thing I will mention, we're talking about numbers here. It's how much, we remind me again, how much for a professional resume building?
Around $300. It's so much money.
$300. I used to be a former actor, so I invested in headshots every 2 years. Headshots usually cost about $500 every time you get them as well. Andrew and his team also offer that service to our students once they are
Mhm.
students here. So, it's a small part of what you're going to be doing over your 4 semesters, but it's going to become a really big part when you're trying to go get your job. So we're
Mhm.
very appreciative of Andrew and his team. Thank you for letting us know about all the awesome things you do.
Of course, happy to be here.
All right, so at this point, I see some great questions coming in through the chat, but we're going to open this up if you want to come on camera. We would love to see your lovely faces and connect with you and answer any questions that you may have. You can use the hand raising, you can just come on camera, whatever you prefer. Hi there.
Hello. My
How are
name, it
you?
says Candace, but my name is Kalia Hall. I'm logged into my
Okay.
sister's email.
Okay.
But I'm applying for the fall cycle, and I am currently taking a nutrition class to be able to be in the program. So I just wanted to understand the process of me being in a class while also trying to input my application.
Mhm.
My program for my class for the nutrition class ends at the beginning of December, and I
Mhm.
know that the cycle ends on December 1st. I think that's correct.
Correct. Yes.
So how does it work as far as like making sure that I put that class in before, if it's like important for me to put that class in before I put my application in?
Great question. So I will tell you that probably 80% of the applicants that we get are in process of some class, multiple classes usually. So you're not alone in that. There's going to be a prerequisite form that you have access to when you submit your application. And on that form, we are going to ask you, where have you taken all of your prerequisite classes? It makes it a little easier for us to go through your transcript so we know exactly what class you think is the equivalent to the prerequisite that we're asking for. So under nutrition, you're going to want to put where you're taking the class and you'll just say in progress. And so then we know you're doing it, it's already in your brain. And when you do finish that course, even if you've already submitted your application, you can send us an updated transcript. It can be an unofficial, that way you don't have to pay any extra money for it at this point. Send us the unofficial transcript so we can see you completed the course and we'll mark it off of your checklist. That's any course that you haven't completed at that time. As soon as you do have a grade for it, you can always send us an update and we will update your application.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Damien, did I see Damien had a hand? Was it Damien, I think? Maybe you already got your answer. Is there official date for the fall semester? Yes, so that's usually on our website. I believe spring is up right now, but fall, the official date is usually at the end of August. It's like August 20 something usually. Keep in mind that the first day of class is not actually the first day you'll need to be there. Orientation does happen about 3 days beforehand. It's a 2-day orientation, so you will need to be there a little bit before the official start date. All right, I'm gonna go with Mia.
Question. I had a nursing program maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I'm not sure. And I was unable to complete it at the time for financial issues. But I owe that school money, which happens to be my alma mater.
Mhm.
And my issue is official versus non-official transcripts. Is there a way to wiggle out of that during the application process?
Yeah, during the
A balance?
application process, you can give us unofficial transcripts as long as they are legible. And what I mean by legible is your name is on there. We can tell the credits for the courses. We can see the course name. Sometimes unofficial transcripts can be very messy looking. As long as it's pretty clear what classes you took and when you took them, you can absolutely give us unofficial transcripts. We just ask by the time you would start the program that you can give us an official one. That's really the time that we need the official. But during the application process, yes, you can give us unofficial transcripts.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, Ben.
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think during the presentation you say that when you are also, be doing your selection, you also use the prerequisites, but then at the same time, you are also saying that the prerequisites are only required before the start of the program. So I just wanted to understand that if you don't have the prerequisites before by December 1st, will your application be treated differently than someone who already has prerequisites or not?
No. So we will take whatever you have at the time that you submit your application. The personal advice that I always give to students, our official stance is you can apply with all of your prerequisites in progress. However, that may not be able to give us the best picture of whether or not you are going to do well in this program. I always highly suggest having at least your first anatomy and physiology course, your general chemistry, maybe your microbiology course done. Those courses, having some kind of grade for those courses is going to give us an indication, and certainly our admissions committee, whether or not you will succeed in this program, if this will be a good fit for you. If you don't have those, again, you can apply and we can sometimes look at your transcripts. I mean, the directors of admission will look at every part of your transcript to sort of see how you have done typically in science courses. So again, when we say it's holistic, truly we go through every part of it. But I would highly suggest having at least a couple of those science courses completed to give more context to your application.
And sorry, just a follow-up question. So when you're
Mhm.
saying science courses, is it like overall science or it has to be like biological science? Because I would say I do have a background in science courses, which is more computer science and physics. But does that count as a science course, or you just looking at biology?
I think they take it all into consideration. Certainly having some health science courses, if you do not have your prerequisites completed, is going to help, again, give more context. But certainly a physics class is going to let us know how you do in more science-based coursework.
Got you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Okay, Ellie.
I was on mute. Hi, I'm Ellie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I just had a quick confirmation question. You answered most of my questions, but I'm a senior in college and I'm gonna get my degree in May, even though on my portal it says awaiting, like next to my degree, you guys can still review my application.
Correct. There are
Okay.
certain things that we do not need completed by the time that you submit the application. Having a bachelor's degree is not one of them. We'll be able to look at your transcripts and see that it is in progress, and you'll just know that you will be required to show proof to us via an official transcript that you have completed that degree by the time you start the program.
Okay. And then I have a few more questions.
Yeah.
You might have mentioned it or I might have missed it, but for the MN program, is there a point if you do get accepted and you're in it that you can transition and decide you want to pursue the pathway program?
No.
Okay.
So you would need to know in advance and apply for the program that you intend to continue on to. What I will say is we certainly do have students who start out in the MN program and then figure out halfway through that they do really want to be a nurse practitioner, and they would just apply separately at the end of their 4 semesters to the post-licensure program that they want to continue on to. Our students tend to do very well and get accepted into the programs because they do very well academically. We waive the application fee for all of our Emory current students, so you wouldn't have to worry about that either. We already have access to your transcript. So again, it's not as heavy of a lift to do that application process for the post-licensure, but you would be required to do that separately.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Ataya.
Atia, that's correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
So I have a question about the microbiology requirement.
Mhm.
I have a clinical microbiology with the lab because my degree was in medical laboratory science, or also known as clinical laboratory science. Would that fulfill the requirement, or would I have to take an additional micro course?
When you submit your application, one of us will probably reach out to you and request a syllabus for that course. And then the
Okay.
admissions committee will look through the syllabus to make sure that it covers all of the things that we require in our prerequisite. But we'll let you know in case you would need to retake it.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, thank you.
All right, of course. Damiel? Maybe?
Hi,
Damiel?
it's Demille.
Damiel, okay, wonderful.
Hi. Couple questions. So I have associate's and a bachelor's degree, and all of them I took it here in the U.S. However, I started off college in Jamaica. So do I need to get that transcript evaluated because I did already in order to get into college here?
Yeah, so you already have one completed, is what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Do you know how old it is?
Uh, it was before COVID, so it has some years on it too.
Okay,
I would
Melanie,
say
do you
probably
know?
like 7 years because that's where I am for my A&P 1 and 2 in microbiology.
Okay, Melanie, do you know if we have a time limit on that?
For the evaluation?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we have a time limit, but it is going to depend who it was that did the evaluation. So what I recommend you do, I'll put the email in the chat, but send us an email and let us know the evaluator, who it was that did that, and then the admission committee will have to review because it does have to be a NACIS organization.
Okay, I know it was somewhere in Maryland, but yes, I'll look at it and do that.
Okay, I'll put the
And
email in the chat.
okay, thank you. And my next question, in terms of it has to be statistics, it can be pre-cal or college algebra or anything. It just have to be statistics.
It has to be Intro to Statistics, a 100 level 3 credit hour statistics course.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Mary.
Hi, everyone. My name
Hi
is
there.
Mary Rucker. I had a question in regards to prereqs. So I graduated with my Master's of Science in Biomedical Sciences in the fall of 2019. Post-graduation, spring 2020, I did take some post-bac classes that would fulfill the nursing prerequisites. However, I did have some prerequisites completed in the fall of 2019, which means fall 2026, I will be exactly at 7 years. Would those prerequisites satisfy the requirement, or would I need to retake it since I'm at the 7-year mark?
If you're at the 7-year mark and you're applying for 2026, you should be just fine.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, Tori. Tori, you are muted right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you, although it
great.
seems like okay, perfect.
Hi, I just wanted to kind of piggyback off the information that you gave requisite. You stated, okay, great. Regarding the application for the prerequisite, stated that just having a few of those prerequisites completed prior to the application will give a little bit more context to how they are able to evaluate the application and evaluate and have some view of if you're able to complete, some science classes. So if you have those prerequisites in progress and prior to the January 25th decision date, do the admissions team reevaluate those prerequisites on a day by day or weekly basis? Because I currently almost completed with a few, and I just wanted to make sure that if I do application prior to, or should I wait to complete the application so then that can.
Sure. So what I would suggest is complete the application by 12/1 to make sure that you get your application in by that admission decision round. However, as soon as you start getting your grades and you're having your courses completed, just start sending us updates because they don't reassess every single day for those prerequisites. So they're just going to take whatever information is in the application at the time that they review it. So just sending as many updates, you're not going to annoy any of us. It's Melanie and I normally in the email. We will happily update your application as many times as you need to make sure that you have everything as up to date as possible throughout the process. Okay, great. All right, Eugene.
Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
Okay, my background is chemistry. I have BS in chemistry and I got it around 2012. And then I finished my master's in chemistry 2022. So I was wondering if my background will cover for the chemistry aspect of the prerequisite. I already have anatomy 1 and 2. So I'm currently enrolled for the rest. So I just need to be sure that the chemistry part is covered or not so that I can make a plan for it as well.
Absolutely. So our chemistry course prerequisite does not have a time limit on it. So if you took any 100 level general chemistry course, which my guess is with 2 degrees in chemistry, you probably did, as long as it was worth 3 credits and you have a 1 credit lab attached to it and it's a C or higher, we will take it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
See you soon.
We love the manifestation. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? These are all excellent questions. My favorite question just came in. Are courses accepted from Portage Learning? Yes. If you have any questions about whether or not we will take credits that you are seeking out one-off usually to get these prerequisites done, send us an email at nursingquestions@emory.edu. You know, again, it's regionally accredited institutions. Usually the two that we see that we do not take is Sophia Learning and Straighterline. Those are not regionally accredited institutions. So keep that in mind. But if you do a quick Google search of any school that you're looking at, the internet will tell you whether or not that they are regionally accredited. So keep that in mind. Yes, Ellie.
Kind of a more general question. I can understand from everything you've said so far, but do you think there's anything else that makes you guys the top program?
You know, I think it's a mixture of a bunch of things. Certainly the job placement, the NCLEX pass rate, the ability for our students to go into these clinical rotations and then sort of get soft job offers just based off of the work that they're doing there. It helps those statistics. But there is a real culture of support and care here at the School of Nursing that I've not experienced in any other school that I have either gone to or worked the admissions for. And I think that that goes a long way. Both Andrew and I mentioned that it's a very rigorous program and we don't try to sugarcoat that. But what comes along with that is a camaraderie with your cohort. For our MN cohort, for the spring, we take in about 100. For the fall, we take in usually around 140. So it's a large cohort. So you will find your chosen family within that. They will be there to support you. Your faculty, even though that's a pretty large number for a cohort, they will know you. They will know you by name. They will know whether you're in class. They will email you to make sure you're doing okay. They will meet with you outside of class. So I honestly think beyond the statistics, the culture that we have here in the School of Nursing is probably the biggest indicator to why I think we are consistently number 1 or number 2 ranked in the country for schools of nursing.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Melanie's given some great information in the chat here. I know she's put it in there a few times, but I will mention again, nursingquestions@emory.edu is our email address for the admissions office. Even if you have a questions that is not admissions based, we can forward it to whoever needs to get that. Yes, Eugene.
Okay, so talking about regionally accepted, I'm currently in Canada and I'm doing my prerequisite with a college in the province that I am.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if the prerequisite will be accepted. I know the college is accredited here in Canada. So that's when you mentioned regionally accepted, so I'm wondering whether I'm in the wrong place.
You're not, you're in the right place for you. So when you do have international coursework, even in Canada, we will ask for an evaluation. So that's going to be a third party that's going to come in and evaluate the course that you took. Certainly, if it is a regionally accredited institution in Canada, we will most likely take it. I can't say that for sure because I don't know what that is. But that third party service is going to help us determine what the equivalency is here in the US.
Okay. So is it like, can I go ahead maybe as evaluate it with WES, or I should just submit the transcript to you, then you get your third party can now do the rest? Okay.
What I would first suggest is that email address that we just gave, nursingquestions@emory.edu. Send us an email there. Let us know where you're taking these particular courses. Melanie and I can do a little bit of digging within the office to see if we've had students who've gone there before. And we might be able to better sort of assist you in how to make sure that those are going to count.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. any other questions that you all want answered before our time is up here in the next few minutes?
Do you mind if I add a little bit?
Absolutely.
So on the school nursing website, we have a wonderful place for events that are coming up. And I do want to say that while you are considering nursing school, some of you may know some of the specialties you want to go into. Some of you may have no idea what you want to do with your nursing career, but you know you want to do nursing. So part of what my office does is we work with alumni to give a guest speaker series on their career journeys. And coming up next week, we have our next one that is open to anybody. So if you want to learn more, if you want to hear about some of the things that our students do, or get a sense of that camaraderie, because it really is real, please feel free to attend. It's November 12th. It's from 12 to 1 or 11. It's on the website. It's via Zoom. So please feel free. And I do want to touch on what Ashley was saying about the camaraderie. I worked at 6 other higher education institutions in my career. I've been at Emory University for the longest for that reason. We really do take care of each other, of our students, of our community. So I could not recommend Emory more than any other of the big names that I've been to.
Yeah, I just have to double echo that. I'm going to put a link to what Andrew was talking about in the chat if you're interested in the My Nursing Journey series. Again, that's November 12th, and you can sign up for that Zoom there. All right. Well, we are nearing the end of our time here. Again, thank you so much. If for whatever reason one of your questions wasn't answered, nursingquestions@emory.edu is the email for our office. We would be more than happy to connect with you there. If any of you are going to be in the Atlanta area, or you are in the Atlanta area and you want to come see any of our spaces, I'm also going to drop a link here if I can find it. For the admissions events that we have here. So we offer bi-weekly pre-licensure information sessions, which this was, but also a tour that goes along with that, where you can see either the 1520 building or the ENLC, depending on what date you're looking at. We also do a good amount of virtual events if you're interested in learning about any of our post-licensure degrees, specialty areas, etc. So that is down in the chat. If you'd like to come visit us in real life, we'd love to connect with you. Otherwise, have a lovely Monday evening. Thank you so much for being here. And again, this will be posted on our YouTube page, so you can find it and rewatch it again if you need to. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.